ones who kind of advise and make final decisions because they know the most.
Okay, I think
However,
we
every
are
game
streaming now.
developer and designer, everyone that you met at the
Cool.
panel
Hello.
joined us for
We're
the game
watching
design panel yesterday.
the
which
Atomic
was a
Mass
great-
Games
great
Ministravaganza
time. We
about
talked a lot
Legion.
about design
It'd be
philosophy,
good if I
development
took myself off
philosophy.
mute.
We're all
Watch us
engaged
watch
in every
them.
game that we make.
Hey,
Everybody
that's
is
what people
coming to
do
the
these
table,
days.
Going to the meetings, discussing, coming up with new ideas, and working towards a similar goal, which is to make
Hey, look at
great
you,
new
look at that.
content for all these great games.
I
like that.
With
Yeah, he's a
that,
good
it means that we
dude.
don't really identify one person whose whole role is to simply go through and make that thing. Instead, we like a much more communal and, again, collaborative environment where that happens. So as we go through this, know that it's not just the three of us who work directly with Legion. It's a whole group effort, including Sarah Rowan.
Well, I'm glad to hear it's not only those three working on Legion.
Our other lead developer, William Pagani, who also takes an
You
active
probably get it
we
wrong.
look very much to Luke with his experience and his knowledge base on what these games are bringing, and we're very excited to dive in and learn more and become experts
See
ourselves.
here. Oh
moving
yeah,
forward.
now I see
But
us.
that kind of gives you an overview. I think it's an important.
I wasn't
distinction between
tracking
kind of how,
where we were, but I am now.
FFG handled game development and kind of their philosophies versus how AMG prefers to handle things like game development.
Wonder
as
if
well
we've
as more
got-
of a group-minded
suppose I should
effort
be
where
in charge
everybody
of
has a responsibility and a role in
working
making things
those
really
wheels
awesome,
of
and there
steel
are
to
no
see if
specific
we've got
one
any
people
folks joining
driving
us
the
in
ship.
patron chat.
With that, let's
Or
go ahead
general
and
chat
stop
for that
talking
matter.
and
In
turn
fact,
over.
Or they can chat on
Why
YouTube.
don't you go ahead and just give us kind
Oh,
of your role
chat
That's
on
where they should be
YouTube.
group effort
chatting.
and how things work.
Okay, well,
Yeah, so I'm
I can
working
try
a lot
to
on
monitor
fixing
that so that you
Legion, and
guys
my first project
can
was
do what you do
Information Warfare,
best.
and my experience with that was just kind of taking.
I really liked their
ideas
discussion yesterday
that are
with about
put
just
out by
game
the
development
larger
stuff, the
creative
page
team
to
of devs, so mainly
table
you and Luke in this
thing.
case, and then kind of refining them down and using the tools inside of the sandbox that is the rule set of a game to try and make them evoke something when you play, right? And to
We
make
want
sure
the
that the rules
reveals.
are balanced against one
They've
another.
already
and that they're
revealed
fun to play without ruining anyone's
Yoda,
experience, and that they work,
Wookiees,
of course, right? Like
the
that's
Ornithopter,
very,
the
nuts and
tank.
bolts of it is, do the words make
They've
sense
only
on
shown us the
card,
minis for
and
a single
can people
Wookiee and
figure
Yoda,
out
but
what
they've
it's supposed
Well,
to do?
kind of already talked about
and
some of
then
that other stuff.
Beyond that,
And the
also
super
showing
tactical
general
droid.
ideas and thoughts
Oh,
of
yeah.
the way that things on other projects are going. Like Schick said, we work very collaboratively, so get to put my hands in all the pots, and that's nice. And really just kind of honing down the greater ideas into the nuts and bolts of words on a card.
And of course,
Yeah, I was. I don't know what I was doing yesterday, but I was indisposed.
to the game and just diving into the
So,
development.
but
It's been
I
really exciting to
caught
kind
some of the tail
re-explore,
end of the Yoda
Legion,
painting,
to
saw
look at
that,
the
and
future
the
possibilities for mass battle action, and to take
Wookiees.
all of the
Was
great
that
ideas and
earlier
plans that were
No, that was
laid
yesterday,
out
wasn't it?
by one Mr. Luke and
Uh,
talking next.
I don't know. I watched
And
the
kind
art
of
one. The art one was
reevaluate
cool
and
because they were just kind of
redefine
showing the full art
what
of a lot
those
of these
plans can
new
be
art
and how we
things
can push
and
them
talking
even
about
further
that.
than maybe was
I feel
possible
like
before
we're
they had
seeing a
such
lot
dedicated
less
and, focused
just
effort in terms
new
of the
FFG
ministry
Star
teams to
Wars
develop
art
them. So,
on the
Mr.
regular,
Luke,
since we
this
don't
is
have a
kind of
card
your show,
game
I think, from this
or
point on, we'll be
actively
looking to you not only to be
printed
the developer for Legion,
RPG
but also for this
books
panel.
for us to
True.
fawn over.
Kind of
man,
is the
so
main
much
engine for the
responsibility.
artwork.
Yeah.
Well, first of all, I'm excited to be working
Is that
with
the
both
Ultimate
of you
Collector's
on
Series A-Wing
Legion
behind
and
it?
on other games. As Will was saying, yeah, it's a collaborative effort on everything we do,
And a dang
that was
Kylo
a,
shuttle.
that was a
Looks like
philosophy
is
we
that a
had
Kylo Shen or a
at
Krennic
Fantasy
Shen?
Flight, and that's a philosophy
it?
that Atomic Mass Games has as well.
Good
And I think
question.
we're making a conscious
think
effort,
that's a
even
Krennic
more
show.
so at Atomic Mass, to
Okay.
do that.
I'll
to
take
have
your word for
everybody
it.
sort of collaborating on each of the different game lines and contributing. So, there's a sense in which, each of us isn't locked into maybe one game line that we're working on. I'm going to be helping with future products for not just Legion, but Star Wars and, or all Star Wars, X-Wing and Armada. But also, at some point too, I'm sure I'll, have a hand in some, Marvel MCP expansions as well. So there's a lot of fluidity there, which I really appreciate, which is really cool and exciting. So in terms of some of what I do,
like the start they've had with that.
I've been working on Legion since
kind of different.
before it came out. I got to help do development
I
on
forget
sort of
that
the
unconventional
core
warfare they
set, the
put
original
out.
core set of the game.
Hmm.
You know, the design was already there, but we were still working on.
We are
you know,
going to
some
have
of
to have a
the
sit down and
specific
talk about
units and
that
some
at
iterations of how
length
certain things work.
after all is said and done.
I got to help
Because
out
I
with that,
like
and then
the
beyond
idea
that,
of
then,
it
you
a
know,
lot.
was designer and developer
I'm
for
a
many of the
sucker
expansions that
for
came out. So,
global campaigns.
I've been with Legion, you know, the
But
whole life of the game,
this one
and have
had
had
a couple
many
kinks.
things that
Not
you know,
fun
we've
kinks,
been thinking
bad
about
kinks.
doing in the future, and you know, cool
Here's a big
plans for
thing
other things we want to see. And
that only
other
lasts 3
directions we
days
wanna
and will give you
go,
no time to
and
prepare for it,
what's
kind
really
of kink.
cool with
That's the kind of kink,
this
yeah.
game line moving over to AMG
I mean,
is
hey,
that, you know,
no
Will
kink
and
shame,
you know these
but
other guys are excited about that too, and they have cool plans.
that
for what
doesn't
we
work
can do
for
in
a
the
lot of
future as
people.
well. So
Especially when we
future's
can't
very
just,
bright
hey, get
for
together.
Star Wars Legion, all the Star
That
Wars
would
game
have,
lines, really,
if we
you know,
didn't, of course,
because everybody is interested.
if we
and
weren't
invested
in this
you
global
know,
situation
what we
that
can
we're
do
in,
that's new
we
and
probably
exciting
wouldn't be
and cool.
having a
again, having been working on Legion for a
web
long time, I've had
convention.
lots
This
of time to
probably
think
would
about,
have been all
you know,
Adepticon
what can we
stuff.
add to the game? What would be cool to do
Oh,
in
you
the
know
future?
what?
And it's cool
That would have been
you
Adepticon
know,
stuff.
looking
That would have
ahead,
been an
I'm
Adepticon
seeing,
campaign.
you know, those things coming to
Yeah, that
fruition,
makes sense.
You know, so we're going to be
Okay.
talking about some cool stuff coming up.
I'm trying to
but there's
adjust
stuff
this
even beyond
stupid,
this that I'm
janky
super excited
webcam
for,
from
but,
like
you know,
a
we can't talk
decade
about
ago,
that
and I
quite yet.
cannot
One thing
quite
at a
get it
time.
right.
We have to save some
It
spoilers,
looks fine.
as I always say,
Okay,
for
I'll take your word for
Ministravaganza
it.
2.
Yeah, you look
Will
good.
likely be coming
Okay.
a lot sooner than I think some people might expect.
I
and
shaved.
hopefully they're
Well,
very excited
sort of
by
shaved.
that.
I
But
Ministravaganza
we have a lot
2.
ahead of us. So yeah,
Confirmed?
So one of the things
They
I think we
confirmed
can
that
touch on
yesterday.
first
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
in
He
terms
just
of
said
kind
it's
of,
going to be coming sooner than some
an
people are
initial-
going
you
to
talked
expect,
about, Luke,
though.
how
So
we
Next
had a
week.
lot of plans and now we kind of have this new
Let's see here.
unification where
What's next?
it's actually
we have
happening
in
right
terms
now.
of
Whoa,
how
we didn't even
executive
realize it.
functions. We've talked a lot about this in terms of our communications and kind of like when the whole exchange happened and we took over ownership of these great games. But I think one of the biggest ways in which we've kind of exerted or expanded on our influence initially, because the timelines for creating miniatures and stuff are so far out, the most immediate impact will likely be on organized play. And we've talked a little bit about this, and this is something I know Michael is very, very passionate about. And one of
Organized
the
play.
reasons we were very excited to bring him on board was kind of expanding upon the great foundations that already
trying not
existed
to
for all the
be
Star Wars games, but especially
Too loud
Legion,
with these guys
in
and the
terms
mic,
of
but
creating new game experiences, new game modes, and also building on the great past that already exists. So, Michael, why don't you walk us through some of the things that we've discussed internally, some things that we can look forward to? in the
Yes, tell
future,
us.
anything that you want to touch on in terms of
Lay it on.
some of those crazy ideas that are rolling around in that head.
Yeah, you know, we've talked a lot about organized play when we're working in kind of the philosophies of AMG and specifically around new game modes and narrative experiences. And
I'm all
those
about
really
that
excite me.
narrative
And,
experience.
I think
oh yeah,
new
I mean,
game modes are really
narrative
interesting. And I think
play
you know,
is
some-
the
some
most
people get
enjoyable
scared
part
when they
for
hear new
me
game mode because
with
they
any
don't
miniatures
understand how to
game,
play their
yeah.
game anymore. But I talked about it a
Did
little
we
bit.
know this guy
I think
before,
in
Michael
the
Plummer?
X-Wing Armada panel, but I feel like it's a
I've
great
never
way
met
to
him
bring
before.
back that
Okay.
new game
When
experience.
I use
I
the
think
word
everyone can
meet
remember
as
a time
in
when they were
a
first
person
getting
we know
into
from the
a game,
internet,
maybe
and
it's
we
Legion.
assume that,
And you remember when you
you
first
know,
got into Legion,
we're
and all your
friends.
were and you were
The
cracking open boxes
JodoCast
and
was
all
not
huddled around
following
over
him on
just couldn't
Twitter
stop
before
talking about
this.
it.
I
And
had
that
to look him up.
excitement just
Gotcha.
naturally kind of dies down after a little while. You know, the honeymoon ends and you kind of solved the game. So new
Yeah,
play
I'm
modes are just a
super
great way
hopeful
for us
that
to
we get,
bring communities together in a way where they're
campaign
looking at
books.
something new and fresh that no one has
Hopefully,
seen
at some
before.
point.
And it sort of levels that playing
Is that
field
some
of
kind of
knowledge and planning and
Warhammer-y
skill that
type thing?
exists,
Ooh, a kitty.
because there's something
Oh
that's
yeah,
brand
yeah,
new to
here he
everyone.
is. He was like,
And
"Oh,
I
you're
think that that's
recording
just a really
something?
exciting and interesting
I'm
way to
gonna
do these OP
come
events.
join
And then,
you."
of course, narrative events. You know, there's so many great stories in Star Wars.
Or if they want to make
They're
it
countless, and
uh,
you know, when I play
downloadable,
games, I'm often
PDFs.
thinking, well, how can I reenact this battle?
Sure.
Like, I don't have
He's
the
describing
historical
the
gamer thing
JodoCast
happening
hit series
quite yet. I
that
think I'm a
theme's
few years away
operational.
from that. Where I start to think
Build
about
our
you know,
things
Star Wars
thematically.
historicals. Like, how can I
Once
use
I get to play Legion
tell the story of
again
the battle on
with
Endor?
Chris,
like,
I plan
that would be
on
very fun for me. Or the battle
doing
on
a
Hoth.
Rogue One
And so
team
I
with all the
think that
Rogue
we're gonna
One
explore
type
a lot of
pieces
ways
from
to
Legion.
go to those locales in our own battles and share that with our players, and that's going to be great. And then, of course, you know, we're going to have things like Vader Down
That is happening.
we've talked about, and I actually just finished reading the comic for another time, and I'm excited to get working on
Ooh,
that
that'll
one.
be exciting.
Yeah,
I
I
bet
think,
there'll be some
you
kind
know,
of rule that
obviously,
gives Vader way
the
more
first kind
actions
of
or
look
something.
at what to expect from these different kind of styles of approaches has been unconventional warfare, which has happened the last last 3 days.
There've been like
as we've
5 people
discussed a little
playing.
bit before, those materials are going to remain on the website. So we're highly encouraging folks out there who really like them to use them in future events, to use them in your community. You know, just because you may not be able to
It's
report your
literally
events to
just
determine the outcome of
4
some
dudes who
ultimate
happen
cards
to
for everyone
live
play
together
doesn't
and
make
all
those,
play
doesn't make
Legion.
those variances on list building or the special abilities any less useful. You know, doing a 3-round event at your store when it opens back up at some point if you want to relive the
Sounds like
glory of
they're trying to
unconventional warfare. One
be
of the
like,
things that I
"Oops,"
kind of want to
without
throw out
saying
there too, and I
oops.
think building on what you said, one of the things that I always
Yeah.
look for in any game that I want to play is value. How do I get the most
mean,
value out of the time? and
I
the
can't
energy that
imagine
I
this
spend
was
in
a
my hobby?
convention
And because,
experience
you know,
that they
again, we've
cooked
talked
up
about this before in other
last
forums,
year, and they're like,
miniatures
oh
games
man, I
have
can't
such
wait
a
to use
high
this at
level of
next
investment.
year's
You're assembling your miniatures,
Adepticon.
you're painting them the way that you
It
want.
seems like something they
Thinking
could do
about
over the
lists and you're creating
weekend,
all this
but
stuff. I love
I don't know.
anytime I have an opportunity to utilize that vast repository of my collection in different and unique ways. Whether that's just one time for a special
Man, I was
event
putting
or
away
convention,
some of my
or if
newly
it's something that I
painted
want to bring back over and over
miniatures,
again in
and I was
different
putting
points
away
in
and
time.
looking at the separatist box. I'm like,
Anytime
look at
that
all these
you get
minis I've
those
never
expansion
played with
rules, those
before.
different modes of play,
Staps,
to me,
Cad
it's very exciting
Bane,
as
all
a
these
lifelong
guys. I'm like,
hobby
oh.
miniatures gamer, and it's something that I think is really important to overall the longevity.
Look at all the
and fun
minis
that
I've never
we
played
have
with before.
this product. So I'm very excited to continue to drill in more to that. And it's
That's
certainly,
sad. We don't like to talk about that
unsurprisingly
tower.
Perhaps has really driven our mentality at a time.
The Dark Tower.
the Leaning Tower of
And
Leo.
specifically to Legion, one thing that's really compelling about the game,
That's
for
what he
me,
says,
and
it's
as
not
it
leaning,
pertains
it's
to organized
perfectly
play, and
straight.
specifically these different play modes, is there are so many interesting mechanics in the way that the game works between command cards and orders and keywords. So there's a lot of room to play. There's a
Hope
lot
I'm
of
not
toys
coming
in the
through with their
sandbox,
audio too much on the
that is
recording.
Legion. So I'm really, really excited about that.
Yeah, as we like to say with designing Legion, there's a lot of levers and dials to pull. So it's real easy to tweak things through, variations on units gaining keywords. Perhaps it's some sort of progressive sort of campaign narrative, and this rebel trooper unit has survived battle after battle, and it's accrued multiple keywords that makes it almost more like a special forces unit. Or
That sounds fun.
you can easily
Leveling
modify
your guys up.
the stats of units.
Yeah,
or
people like
change how,
XCOM.
you alluded to how
They can
command
be
cards are
permadeath, but
played,
every
or,
match it lives
unconventional
through, you
warfare
get
is
to
a
give
great
it a little
example of tweaking some of
thing.
these things. In the day 3 perks that we just released for today, the what is the hero hammer track called again? That's the
on lead from the front.
Yeah. So they just unlocked their last perk is or no, it was their day 2.
Is the
perk
echo
that
on the
they
stream?
got the double.
Was the command hand? Yes.
Which was it? Which was the double
I
leg?
hear an
Oh, the
echo.
double
I'm not sure if it's
elimination.
from the stream or from
Right,
us.
I wasn't
Now-
sure
now
if it
you've
was
got me
from me or
questioning.
We
not.
move these things around.
I'll
and
pull
they
it up.
punch
Are you-
punch while
you're
we're
using
working on it,
headphones, so it
I
shouldn't be
forget
Well,
what
I'm-
it is.
I'm
That's
using
an example of
headphones
tweaking even just that
to
turn
talk
0
with
like
you,
battle
actually.
builder phase where they don't just eliminate
I've got 2
one
screens, but I feel
card,
like I'm going to be juggling too many
once
windows.
per that
Let's see what I can do.
battle card
can
setup
do it.
phase. They can
I
eliminate 2 cards.
do.
So
Day 3.
again,
That was.
okay, that was today. Yes. So yeah, there's a whole bunch of different interesting things you can do with the Legion rule set. There's so many different little elements to it that you can tweak and use to sort of build interesting game modes and ways to play, and sort of add interesting flavor to games and to scenarios without really having to change the fundamental rules of the game. So that's something that's pretty cool, and that's something that we're going to definitely leverage in the future for other organized play.
I hope so. I mean,
I have
remember
one
when
last thing about
Fantasy
Unconventional
Flight did
Warfare
that
before
for
we move on
about
to the
2
future of
months and
Legion,
then
that is,
stopped?
I don't think we've told
Yeah,
the
right
Legion
when the
players
game
what cards
launched.
they're going to get alternate
they call them,
armor for
operations
if
or
their side
something?
wins.
Yeah.
And that is going to be the Force upgrade, Force push.
Probably the best force upgrade in the game. So yes, if you want to see that future art of that card for the light side or for the dark side, go try and get in a game or 2 if you can, and report those games on the website to sway the balance of the force for how the art of that card comes
And
out.
now we just
I really
watch
wanna-
Briggs
I actually wanna-
watch
I wanna
us and
watch
runs out to go
football.
play a very quick skirmish game of Legion. So
I want to
there
see it with dark
change
side art.
everything around. Okay,
So-
so let's
so
talk a little
whoever
bit
wins
about
the
what
event,
future
they'll-
holds.
will
There's-
influence
There's kind of 2 tracks.
future Battle Dart cards.
We've
Yeah, they were just saying
written,
force push.
several of the
Oh.
things that are coming up in the imminent future, in the next couple of months. We wanted to dive in
What are we
today
doing?
and really look
2
at
vehicles.
the 2 vehicles that are coming out, the
Oh.
A4 speeder truck and the
Okay.
LAT LE. And moving beyond that, we also kind of wanted to talk a little bit more about what to expect in the future. Beyond
On the
these
art panel, they
two
showed
vehicles.
some art of
And that's
Shriv
specifically
in
things
the
that we've been showing,
cockpit of that
the Yoda
AA5
reveals,
speeder
the
truck, and
Luke
it
reveals,
was
stuff
the
like that.
prettiest thing.
And that is the Kashyyyk wave. And I think there's some interesting stuff to talk about. In
Yeah,
terms
see,
of
they even
how
called it
that
the Kashyyyk wave.
will have resonating effects. It will have ripple effects going forward in terms of Legion design that we can kind of hint at and talk about. So,
That's also just kind of
to
like
start, I think we want to just dive
Wookiee
in and really
surfers.
start talking about
Gotta
the
look for that
Kashyyyk wave.
and all of the cool
Shredder.
things that
Kind of
bring to the
drug.
table. And Mr. Luke,
yeah.
I'm going to allow you to kind of take over the helm here. I am simply going to put up this really fancy exclusive first look at the studio painted AA.
Ooh.
I like that thing a
Yeah.
lot because it looks really
So tell us a
goofy.
little bit about
It's
the
a big
genesis
goober of a
this vehicle.
car.
Give us all the good intel
And I like it.
details. Let me know when you want to actually post up the unit card, and I will be happy to do that for you as well. But yeah, let's hear about the Rebels' new sweet ride.
Yeah, their sweet ride, absolutely. I'd be happy to give some insider info on this.
I like the
Both of these
gorilla.
vehicles were a ton of fun to work on, to come up with.
It's
I think
it is an
so.
interesting
The Genesis, of course, is
model
pretty straightforward. It
for
was
such
just
a
that, hey,
nondescript.
the original two factions are
design.
due for another set of
Like there's a lot of
vehicles,
custom,
and
like
we've been
a lot like with
planning,
the speeder, the Rebel
and
speeder.
pretty much from the
It's going to be a
beginning
lot of
or at least
customization going
since
on
we
with this
did
thing, and
the,
Right.
it's going to be great for
the open
that.
transports,
It's
the
just such a
land speeder
vanilla
and the occupied
damn
tank,
model.
Back when we were doing the Rogue One theme stuff, that like, hey, we're
Got
going
a
to do
lot of nice space
closed
for
transports. That's
graffiti
and,
or logos,
the wave that these
decals.
are included in, which also had the specialist
Oh,
packs
yeah.
for the prequel factions. It had Lando and Callus and Anakin and Darth Maul. That whole set of units was kind of a like, what do we need to add to the game before we move on to other exciting stuff? Like what are the things we got to like, sort of a catch-all of cool characters that like are fan favorites that we really want to see in the game, and some expansions that are important for the existing factions. And of course, the prequel factions hadn't had their specialist packs yet, and the original factions, again, we hadn't gotten yet to doing actual closed transports. So for the Imperials, it was relatively easy because we actually had a couple things to choose from. Like they transport troops all the time. The Rebels, it was a little tougher. There's the little like sort of airport thing that
Oh,
they drive
man.
around
Oh,
in the hangar.
a little,
Like
yeah,
a
the
rabbit?
airport buggy. Yes.
Yeah, and
Give
it's
us
like,
that.
was actually proposed, and we're like, I don't think that's quite what we're looking for.
Someone
there's a
in the chat
there
just
is a
said Rebels
transport
can
you see
walk.
actually in the Vader Down comic.
Wow.
But
I feel like that
kinda
person wears the shirt
uninspired.
that
It's
says the Empire did
another
nothing
open
wrong.
transport. So I really had to dig deep, and I looked through, all the different possible expanded universe type transports Rebels could have. There's lots of vehicles that they have in some of the Disney computer games, and a bunch of RTSs.
That's where
The
this one
art
came
style
from,
of
right?
a
Or
lot
was
of
this from a
those is
mobile
sort
game?
of
This was from West End,
off a
from the
little bit
role-playing
sometimes
game.
to that sort of Star
I'm pretty
Wars
sure
feel.
was its first appearance.
But there was this AA5 speeder truck, and
Well,
it was
there
from
you
the
go.
EU, and it had gotten updated a little bit in
Oh, we're
one of
both
the
right.
mobile games
Look at
that
that.
was put out under Disney. So it was technically canon, but it didn't look this good. And
It
when
looked like crap.
I
Let's
proposed
be
it,
honest.
there was
I
some
like
doubt
the-
as to like, oh, do we
You see that
do
border
we
around the
does this
door on the
do that?
side?
It's kind of a box.
Mhm.
I feel like it
But I
should
was
be
like,
able to
no,
fold
it's
out
the
like
right-
an
it's the
awning,
right
like on a
shape.
camper.
It's still Star Warsy. You just got to gunk it up. You got to give it those greebles. The
Like
guts
a
on the
Winnebago. It's
outside.
the Winnebago
it
just
is
have to
from
have
probably-
Stripe.
and our hard plastic sculptor, our hard surface sculptor Bexley, who does amazing work on all
You
of
could
our X-Wing
paint it
ships.
like just an
He
old
can do it. He can make this
grungy
look Star
Winnebago, and
Warsy.
it would probably
Yeah.
look really good for that.
My
Just
faith
different
Is it,
browns.
is it the Winnebago
It's
from
amazing.
Stripes,
It's
or is it the
perfect.
Winnebago,
That's
or is it the Winnebago
It
from
does feel, having
Spaceballs?
painted it now, it feels
Oh.
exactly what I would expect.
You
out
called
of
it.
A loose band of
You got it.
political insurrectionists. Like,
Lone
it's
Star.
Just, they bought this thing off of a lot or a
comes
junkyard, strapped a
as
gun
a
to it, and they're
pilot.
like, let's do this. This is great.
It would be
Absolutely.
cool
When
to
does
have
that go
a
in? Wing?
He went all out.
to have a
too,
mini
because,
that can
as you've
be
seen,
hanging out of
has a
that door
full
with a
furnished
gun. You know,
interior.
one hand on the
It
door
has a
frame, the other
cockpit
hand on
with
his
a
gun.
windshield. We've got a Celestin inside piloting it. Like, there was no
Yeah,
holds
gun
barred
bus.
here. Like, it was.
Everyone needs a gun bus.
He went
You
above and
could
beyond.
probably mod it with like a
Well, let's go ahead and talk a little
Z6
bit
type.
About, we've talked about the Genesis. Let's talk
turret.
About the
Oh, you know what?
Yeah.
On my
closed
desk right
transports.
here.
There's even a
I know
dude
this is
hanging
really
out in the
this is
artwork.
the first time.
We've got the
so
cards. Oh yeah.
Tell us a bit about that.
Armor.
Like, you know,
I've got
how did
the
it feel to
rebel
finally utilize a rule type
comm
that had been
officer
sitting there
lady
just laying fallow
Mhm.
for
sitting
so
on my desk unpainted forever because
Yeah,
I've never even
it-
used one of these
honestly,
minis,
it
even
was
though I
kind
have 3 of
easy.
them.
I mean,
Yeah.
you look
And
at the
her arm is like
and
holding this
none of those
comm link, which
keywords are
would
actually
possibly
new,
work
you
great
know,
for
ours
hanging
don't
out the
take forever.
door because her
Hover
other
ground
gun,
is the
her
same
other hand
keyword
is
we
holding the
gave
gun
those-
out.
The low flying, slow moving repulsors.
So it's only speed 1. Well, it's got that
that's the
huge
same keyword
base,
that the
though.
tanks have.
Mhm.
The AAT and the Saber tank. Reposition, that's the same keyword that the Occupier has. There's that Transport 1 closed keyword that's existed in the game
Since wave
Wave 4.
4,
Here it is,
okay.
finally on a card. And, you know, it's pretty straightforward. I think the
Oof.
most difficult part was
Weak point
actually
2
making this
on the
more
rear.
interesting than what you see here, which
It's got a weak
we're going to
booty.
save that content for the future.
It's got-
But if you look at the side
Impact.
there, it
Wow.
has a lot of upgrades.
Yeah, pilot
You're gonna have
and
a lot of
2
interesting
crew.
options to fill those slots with.
Well, I think
So
we know that Shriv
when
is
you
one
actually
because they had that
upgrade
artwork
this,
and they were
that's where
calling
the-
him Shriv.
really the interesting part of this is all those
So Shriv might be a
slots
crew
and
or a
options you have
pilot.
there to
Sweet.
essentially turn this into not just a transport but also sort of a mobile.
But will
command
he
center.
get a model?
Because a lot of those crew slots are going to give you and pilot slot are going to.
Or is it just going to be a card upgrade?
Effects that you know.
I'm gonna paint it
influence
as
the
a
units your, other
Plain
units
white
on the
van that I
battlefield
can
by
park near the
buffing them,
Empire so that we
perhaps
can
healing
eavesdrop on
instead of
them
a
and they
mobile
won't be
hospital type
suspicious.
thing. So,
I
yeah, it was
guarantee
that's
you
where the interesting design.
we will see at least
the
one person
actual,
paint this like the
chassis of
van
this,
from
very basic, very straightforward. And
Fanboys.
you can just run it like that because that was. The
Oh
other
yeah, I
thing
think we were
tried
actually
to do
talking
is
about that the
very
other day
cheap,
on
only
Discord.
75 points. If you just
I
need
mean,
to get say
that
you know,
and the
warriors,
Spaceballs
your melee unit
Winnebago.
from point A to point
Or
B,
just any generic
and
kind
have
of
them
rock and
particularly
roll van with the
fire
wizard
and
or the
just jump
unicorn on
out
the
right next
side.
to some enemies in wreck space. Only 75 points.
That would be very good.
Yeah.
Let's
75
talk
points
about
is
some of
pretty
the hardpoint
cheap.
options. So I know we have the heavy laser retrofit.
It's got.
on the list
I mean,
to
yeah.
talk about.
Well,
This
with
thing
that
looks
many
pretty fun. I
upgrades,
like,
you'd want to
Yeah.
make it
you know,
affordable.
I like multiple colors
That's pretty
of dice.
dope.
It's got great range.
That looks super good.
Yeah.
So
Range
I
4,
imagine that
critical
this kinda
1.
turns it with the hover rules more into a bit of a mobile gun.
Critical
platform,
is,
a little bit more support that can still
in
be
my
used with
opinion,
one
a
gun.
way too good
Exactly.
keyword.
Yeah, this is your budget. Excuse me, your budget option
option.
for a weapon. Now,
Oh,
there's no
it doesn't
weapon
even
on
come
the
with a
actual
weapon.
card. So if you wanted to shoot anything at all, you do have to pay for it.
So it's
upfront, but
75
this is the
points, but
cheap
if you
one.
do that, you get no
You know,
gun.
The range is nice. Dice are passable. Critical one helps get some damage through. But this is your pot shot weapon. You know, hopefully you get
know, that
with a
seems
red
pretty
die
good to
there,
me.
You know, and you
3
know,
dice
3
with
potentially
critical?
plus the critical. You could maybe get some.
I didn't
damage
see. Does it? It
cover.
probably doesn't
It's not gonna
surge
be a
for
lot.
anything.
This is just to sort of
It surges on
have
defense.
the vehicle able to at least
That
lend
makes
some
sense.
firepower to the battlefield. And for 16
Yeah.
points, that's
Have
not
white
a bad deal.
defense die, but it surges.
But there is going to be a bigger,
I
better,
got
cooler
a
gun
year's worth
that
of Legion
will
to catch
show
up on.
you
I gotta
later
play
on
at least
in
3 games a
preview
day
articles for if you
for
really
about
want to turn
3
this
months.
into like a weapon.
Oh,
platform.
poor Bethany.
Right, and both those weapon options are available on the frame for the vehicle itself. One of the things I really liked is the way that it's designed. You can plug and play each weapon, and of course you can turn them.
Oh,
I
the
find
model,
it's
you can
most
swap
important
out the
when I play
guns?
with vehicles that I can make the little sound as the turret
Let me
turns
ask you.
around, and if I can't do that,
I,
I'm
uh,
having fun.
Hot swap
But you
or
gotta aim at the enemy unit. That's,
do.
But
Otherwise
I'm
you're
sure
just
you
gonna
can just
miss.
magnetize
Yeah,
it.
there's no way your
Oh,
dice are going to
okay.
hit if the gun
I-
isn't pointed.
by what you said, I
Yeah,
wasn't
the-
sure if
the
you
dice
meant
can't
in
see
the
if the
heat
gun
of
can't
battle
see.
you can.
Oh yeah,
Exactly.
no, I doubt
You
that.
mentioned a little
I
bit
think they're just
about
talking.
how
It'll
the
come with different
crew
model parts for the
upgrades,
model.
Right,
can
and I
really
should hope so.
change How this vehicle functions with
I agree with
Rebel list.
Will,
I
that
know
you need
we
to
have
be able
one
to
that
rotate
I've
and
seen
go
fans clamoring for
when you're
forever,
moving it.
being a Battlefront.
Oh, there's that art I was telling you about.
There's Shriv, yeah.
I'm excited. to
Ooh,
see what
field
they show.
commander.
So go ahead and
Nice.
talk a little bit about what he brings to the table when it comes to
That's
the
very cool.
Yeah, we had to show off at least one.
Oh, and he can
pilot
hand out
upgrade. I know
dodge.
people are excited for the field
Oh
commander
wow.
upgrades. This vehicle
that art is so
the lab
good.
as well. They're going to add field commanders to the Rebel Alliance and the
He doesn't
Imperial
have too much of
factions.
his
So
like
Shriv is he's
we're
not
screwed
exclusive to the
look on
AA5,
his face.
So
He's just
a
going
heavy
kind of
vehicle, so you could run him
regular
in your land
old
speeder or your
Sunday drive.
yeah.
your snow speeder.
It must be
He's
a day
consummate
without
pilot.
Lando.
He can
Or,
handle pretty much everything. And that field commander keyword there. So the text you see on the card is sort of its basic.
I don't know.
effect while
The
it's
art
in-game,
is
but
so good. The
it also has
lighting
another
coming through the
effect
windshield,
where if
the
you
inside of the
build your
cockpit
army
details.
with a
It's
field
very
commander
Makes me want to drive one of those.
unit or upgrade in that army, you don't have
Like
to
a
field a
barbecue.
commander. This
You could.
field commander takes the
We're going to
place
see a
of
lot
that
of food
commander,
trucks
and,
as well. I
you
think.
know, you can
Oh,
do
yeah,
some
that's gonna
interesting
be
things
very
with that.
cool.
You could
AA5
have an
taco
army
truck.
that is sort of
Or,
led
open up
by
the back
your
for,
speeder truck
tailgating.
outfitted with a bunch of
Yeah.
support upgrades.
This
you know,
could be
and
the
maybe
most
another heavy
versatile
vehicle
Legion
and a
model
bunch of
we've ever gotten.
tauntauns, perhaps.
Well, and
or,
y'all were
you
saying
know,
that about the
NTRTs,
Rebel
and you have
Speeder
those
too.
extra
Like,
points to fill
it's
out
so much fun
an
to pimp
interesting army that
pimp
you
their
wouldn't be able to
ride.
do otherwise if you had to spend points on, say, a commander.
I gotta check if
So that's pretty cool.
I
And so that gives
magnetized
you a lot
my
of
Gonk
interesting
Droid
list building opportunities.
mini,
And then he also has another effect, which is just
and the
just
seats
really
on
good,
my
which is as a free action.
land speeder are
choose,
magnetized.
a friendly
So,
unit, so
but
one
I
that
didn't
you are
bother like
transporting, or
figuring
one
out
range
if they
one or
matched
two, and it just it gains a
because
dodge
it was
token,
packed
and if
away.
it wants, it can also
So
get a
there's a
suppression
50-50
token. So
chance my Gonk
that's
Droid
real
will be
good for
able to
units that
ride
have,
in my
leader
land
sense,
speeder.
So like Generso or the Pathfinders, they want that suppression token, so you can buff those. And of course, just basic Rebel troopers love getting dodge tokens. They have the nimble viewers.
I have never taken advantage of
Shriv
Nimble.
has just some nice good synergy with.
I
just
must
a lot
be
of basic
playing them
Rebel
wrong.
units, so
I probably
Nimble.
yeah,
am.
he's a solid
Quite
buy,
good.
even if you aren't using him for
I
your
never,
field commander ability.
proc it for
It's-
whatever
it's-
On to the
reason.
next vehicle.
It's
We do still have a lot to cover, and
It
that is
tends to happen
my
more
personal
if you
favorite,
found a position to
partly
hunker
because
down in and not
I'm
move.
building
Because if
my
you're
one
moving,
army up, my
you're
1/4,
it's
so
not.
I'm
If
excited
you
to
sit
put
there
this
and
on
you
the
can pick a
table
dodge
with
and
that,
then shoot, and
which
then
is the LAT L80.
I
So
think
not-
it's
not the LAT
because
that a
every
lot of
time I
people think of when they
play,
hear LAT.
it's
This is
I
the
just
more the
wind up
patrol
playing
vehicle,
capture the point.
But
Yes.
Because
super
more often than
amazing-
not,
super amazing
I'm
miniature,
teaching
droid
someone
to
how to
put
play,
together.
or we're
Back
playing
to it
like
again.
so casual.
Sculptor
I'm
on
just
this.
like, here, 3 points, capture 'em.
So let's just go ahead.
So
and
it's always
talk
just a rush
right into it about,
to get to the points. The games that I
design,
play,
kind of impetus
I
behind
hardly
it.
ever
I'm gonna bring
play
up the
like
rules
defend
card so
the
we can
point.
just continue to move
Yeah,
right
get that
along.
up on the screen there.
I love
Here
that
we are.
mini.
It's a really
It's-
nice
Oh,
looking
yeah,
paint job.
it's gorgeous. I mean, and again, even
Yeah.
better in person too.
That's really nice.
it makes me happy that I picked
Cool.
Rebels
So
and
you can
droids
see right
because
away
I'm not
that,
interested in this
if you
vehicle
haven't
at
caught on
all.
already, the LAT is for the Imperial faction and
I mean,
for
it's
the
a great
Republic
looking
faction, so they're
miniature.
both getting a unit. Now, the unit
Pretty
cards
cool.
are
Yeah.
identical, so there's nothing different between them other than their rank, or the rank's the same, other than their faction. Yeah, this is also not necessarily a gun platform. It comes with the guns
it's not a
built
gun
in, and
platform, then-
they're nothing to shake a stick at. They're pretty good. One black or one red, 3 black.
Yeah.
120
Mainly its role
and
is as that
a
transport.
lot of
So,
baked in.
It
abilities,
has
but
a
not
lot of
too many
tools we've seen
upgrades.
before. Armor, it has
So,
cover, like other flying vehicles.
Are you
and
gonna
it's covered, though.
event? It's ever
Cover
gonna
air
have to buy
2
two
instead
so
of
you can
speeder, so it
paint
doesn't
one
just
Republic
speed
and paint
around,
one
the
Empire?
battlefield
Find
like
some kind of
most
in
repulsor
between.
vehicles we've seen. It's more of
Well,
a
I guess that paint job they
helicopter,
had
almost.
was
Sort
the
of
paint
just
job they
hovering
used
in
in the Clone
place,
Wars
still
when
can
you saw
ignore
it
all
in
that
that show.
terrain. And
Because
so
it was
gives
in the
automatic
Ahsoka arc where
moves
they
that
were
can
kind of trying to
instead
show how
strafe back and forth, which
close
you
to the
use with
Empire the
side notches
Republic
on the
already
base form.
was.
So that's pretty cool. And then at the
I don't
end there,
think
you've
you're
got the basic
gonna have to
transport
do
1
too
keyword
much.
again, which
It's
means you
gray.
can transport a unit around the battlefield without having to worry about them getting shot.
It's a
So,
gray
you
vehicle.
can get
I
Vader
wanna see
or
the
Obi-Wan Kenobi right
LAAT.
into the middle of a battle without having to worry
The-
about them taking any enemy fire.
just
with.
regular,
Oh,
which I think is
I wanna
probably
see dudes
slightly
with the
bigger
fact
than that
that
one.
can happen
I'll-
at
it's-
the
I'd
same time.
I'd
it's
love to have
literally
that.
fly
It's a lot bigger.
Nice
It would
sweet
be
flat LE
enormous on the
towards each other.
battlefield.
Yeah,
So that they
it
can
would
have their epic
almost
rematch
be.
duel.
I mean, it would be
Yeah,
at
rematch.
least
There you go.
ATST
Yeah.
size.
All right. For those asking in the chat, it does come with different pilot options because
It would
the
require
system's a little
probably a
canopy.
double
So
flight
you do get
stand.
Imperial and clone pilot options as well. And let's talk about one of those pilot options. I think is next. Oh no, we want to talk about the non-clone pilot.
The
option
non-clone
first.
pilot,
So
okay.
we gotta follow-
Imperial pilot.
Gotta follow
Yeah.
Luke's lead here.
Oh,
So Governor
a
Price,
pilot.
What?
is one of the
Governor
upgrade cards
Price.
for the
What?
Imperials.
Field commander.
Yes, so similar to Shriv, Governor Price adds.
Okay,
field
she's
commander
basically
as an
Shriv
option
except for
to
aim instead of
the
dodge.
Imperials.
Okay,
Makes sense.
I guess.
She can go on any heavy vehicle, so this could be on the tank.
That's neat.
The occupier tank, or it
Yeah.
could be on ATST. Same field commander effect.
She- I
lets
don't
you
know. She
field
definitely
just
should not
that
have a-
unit as your commander and
a model.
skip points. You not have to spend
She's
points
not-
on a regular commander.
Well, I
It's
don't.
an
Her
upgrade.
effect
Yeah.
is
Yeah, but
interesting
I mean,
and sort of a
I'd
riff
love
on
for
what Shriv
Shriv
does.
to get a model.
Price is
He's
not.
not gonna get
Price is
one.
not the best
'cause
leader.
he's an
She
upgrade
kinda,
card.
Well, so
tells
far.
people what to do and
So
So
far,
doesn't
But
really
she
care
should
about,
not be.
whether
She is not
I
a
don't- I
they
feel
are or
like
not. So
She
she
is,
could
though,
give them
in
a
a
name
couple
token, which is great,
episodes.
possibly more
She's
powerful
on
than
the
Dodge
when
token.
she thinks she's
But
about
that
to win,
suppression
she
effect,
puts
they
on her
don't get a
armor
choice.
and
They have
goes
to
with her
take it. When
troops.
she tells them what to do,
I
they're
think in the
like,
last few episodes of the show.
we're doing it. They may not want that suppression.
Okay, I
Or
guess
it
my
should
thing
work
is
out
just
all right.
always
Maybe
remember
they
her
need
being
help.
She
manipulative
is dedicated to
and
the mission,
torturing
not to her
people
men.
and
Ugh.
Yes.
Hard.
sacrificing her parents.
Super
She's
hard.
about as
Alright,
much
let's
boots
move
on the
to
ground as Thrawn
Clone
is,
Commander
which is to
options.
say
Clone
not
Commander
very much,
Fox.
but when you
Yeah.
gotta.
Ooh,
Captain
Fox.
He is
Foxy.
in
Stay
charge
foxy.
of the Coruscant security force.
Ooh.
So he is.
Okay, so it looks like all of these are
he's a
just
cool
kind
dude
of
who also
this is the
again
same
has the
kind of
same field
deal,
commander
but with a
effect
surge.
and
Oh, it
has a
sure
similar
is, isn't
ability
it?
there where again it's sort of riffing on the same effect. He gives out a surge token.
That's Foxy.
And then he may remove a suppressor token, so he can sort of rally his
Didn't
troops.
Fox kill fives? I think he did. Uh-oh, stream stopped for me.
Oh, me too.
Oh yeah,
Uh-oh.
I didn't do it.
Well,
Okay, the chat is saying the same thing. Stream cut out.
Oh well, yeah, Crabbox said it, so it must be true.
The beacon of truth.
Stream dead.
wow,
F,
wow.
F, F.
Taking
No.
the Empire in the groin auto suppression. What? What?
I mean auto suppression. All of these have auto suppression.
Nice.
Suppression is a good
Oh,
thing you
it's
want to
back.
give to your people.
Yeah. Break the illusion of suppression being
No,
bad.
I guess it's not.
No, it's not.
Suppression is good and bad, but
Yeah, but it's a
I tend
resource.
to. Yeah, I mean it's basically just free cover. That's kind of its thing. That's why
Yeah.
you want to give it to people. But also, in some cases, like this ability, it could be good, or it could be like an extra benefit, or a drawback cost. It depends on the situation you're in, really.
Mhm. I mean, I'm not gonna lie. Like, I have to break my own feeling of suppression, or suppression is bad.
It's
Like-
basically, I mean, the way I picture it, like, because I like to think of the things, narratively, or like,
Oh, of course, yeah.
it's just them hunching over, going, oh. But maybe it could be them hunching over, going, all right, crouch and be less stupid.
Yeah, I mean, taking cover is honestly a thing that you would expect most units in war games to know to do. It's certainly not a thing that Space Marines know how to do. They don't know how to take cover.
The Atomic Mass game says they're having technical issues and will hopefully be back up shortly.
Okay.
Okay, so anyways, while we're waiting, so far we earlier mentioned Commander Yoda, and he's got two
Yeah.
sculpts.
Yeah, I assume they're going to be showing him and his cards here in a little bit.
Yeah, someone else says price is out of place too, but I'm gonna agree with the two of you that, like, for an upgrade card, fine.
Well,
It's-
they
I think
obviously needed
It feels like she should have been a crew instead of a pilot, but
right.
Yeah, agreed.
They definitely needed a named person to fill that slot, and I think when it comes to the Empire, it's a lot harder to find named characters that fill these roles.
Yes,
They
and
probably
I
also-
wish that I wish that they had more liberty to not necessarily make brand new characters, but just make generic commanders more than they do. But that's just me.
And they probably looked at like, okay, well, which Imperials do we actually see interacting with this vehicle in the show? And we've got Tarkin and Price, and then a bunch of nameless guys, and we'll probably save Tarkin for something cooler. So I guess this is our decent choice.
What about those two Jokers from the early seasons of Rebels that were the thin guy and the big guy that were constantly like?
They didn't live long enough to get to fly in one of those.
That's fair.
I don't even,
Oresco and Grint, I believe their names were.
I don't even remember who you're talking about.
They're in season 1. there was a skinny guy and a big guy, and they were training the little guys, the little troopers, and they were in the premiere when he fooled them with some fruit, and then
they were harassing the fruit vendor.
The episode where you were like, oh, when Tarkin sits him down and he's like, you guys suck and you shouldn't be doing this, and then the Inquisitor turns on his lightsaber and pushes it and decapitates both of them at once.
Nope.
And then Callus and
there's no recollection of that.
I guess it's time for a Rebels rewatch, huh?
Yep, there you go. Next miniseries. There, I mean, if they had named them like Vix and Wedge, or something along those lines, it's like a callback to Final Fantasy as a callback to Star Wars. I would have laughed. That's the kind of thing that I would do. I think Leo would slap me across the face if I tried to do that. If I had any power to affect things.
You could try and make long-winded YouTube videos with super weird thumbnails, and then it's guaranteed that Lucasfilm will pay attention to you and do things.
That's true.
Yeah, make sure you Photoshop red eyes onto Kathleen Kennedy.
Yeah, laser eyes. That's the key.
Hashtag release the Filoni cut.
Don't even.
Mm-mm. Don't start.
To be fair.
You know, I did
That
start.
movie could use. I would totally welcome an extended cut to the Rise of Skywalker because it really needs one.
Rise of Skywalker is the Justice League 2017.
It really does have like 3 movies worth of shit crammed into it.
I'd take a 3-4 hour version of that movie. Go for it. It's either gonna. I mean,
it can't be worse.
Well, even if it is, like, my feelings about it have already leveled out, and it's like, well, whatever. You're not going to make me feel worse. You could make me feel better, though. So whatever.
That is true. I mean, there's really at this point nothing more they can do to me, so they can only go up from there. I mean, honestly, that's the way I started watching the Snyder Cut the other night. I only got halfway through it just because, Christ, 4 hours of that's exhausting as hell. But I mean, it's certainly I'm not gonna say it's a good movie still, but it's an improvement over what we saw in the theater.
Absolutely. I'm gonna put it out there. I enjoyed the heck out of it. I watched it all last night. I took breaks. I refilled my booze. Went to the bathroom.
Maybe I might start that tonight. We didn't like really any of the DC movies too much, except the first Wonder Woman movie. We never watched the other one, but
the first one was better than the 84.
I liked Aquaman, but not because it was a good movie. It was just very funny.
Did you? What about Shazam? Did you not like Shazam?
Shazam was good. Shazam was very good.
Yeah.
But I'm curious about Justice League, so I'm gonna watch it probably in like hour chunks. But like the length isn't a deal breaker. It's like I watch TV shows that are longer than 4 hours.
It's they break it up into chapters, which I think is very commercial auteur. But just watch it that way. Watch it in the
that's what it was gonna be. For whatever reason, they just stuck it into one.
Yeah, because it was going to be like a
4-part thing.
Well, it was going to be like a 6-part mini series of like 6 45-minute long episodes or whatever, and I don't know. I forgot what I was going to say.
Let's talk about Legion.
Yeah,
Yoda.
I tried. I tried to get us to talk about Legion.
We've got the.
I'm super excited about the fact that they're putting enough parts in the box that you'll be able to build both Yoda sculpts. So you'll get
him leaping and then him just walking.
Yeah.
And then with his hand out, and then you could give him a cane or a lightsaber in his other hand. Right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So you won't be able to build all 3 poses, but so like for the walking one, you're gonna have to choose between either the cane or the lightsaber. But
We know which one we're choosing.
the cane.
Absolutely the cane. Anyone that chooses the lightsaber for the walking one is wrong.
It's actually called a gimmer stick, not a cane. Actually, I wonder if that's even canon anymore. Probably not. In Legends, his cane was a gimmer stick, a specific type of wood that he would nibble on sometimes because I guess it tasted good. Yeah.
I thought it was like it sounds like a grabber stick, like what you use to grab things off the top shelf.
No.
I knew it was
Yeah,
a gimmer stick. The canon tab says the gimmer stick also had a nutritious juices inside that eased thirst and acted as a natural painkiller. Probably also helped him sharpen his teeth. You know, like a lot of different animals need to chew on things to keep their teeth from like if a beaver doesn't chew on trees, his teeth won't stop growing. That's what Yoda is like. If he didn't chew on that stick all the time, his teeth would get too long for his mouth.
When 900 years old you reach, your arthritis will be every bit as bad.
No, the only thing is I wonder if it's going to come with 2 bases also then or not.
I mean,
well, I would hope so if they're going to give you the ability to build 2 minis out of it, but that also sounds like the most FFG thing I can imagine is to give us the ability to build 2 minis, but then only put 1 base in the box.
Yes, I mean I
going
think
either way.
I think of it from GW. So whenever they give you the ability to build, like here's the main model, or 2 models that you can use interchangeably, you get 2 bases. Even with Rune Wars, it's like here's your cavalry model and here's your on foot model. You get 2 trays. It's not like, well, hope you got a tray for that one. So I hope so. It's not like it's an interchangeable arm. It's a whole new, whole different model.
If they don't, I mean, I've got plenty of spare bases laying around.
Sure.
So.
I bet as you play, you could also, I'd probably, if I was playing with Yoda, I'd have him in cane mode until he reached the part of the game where he's in combat. Then I'd swap him.
And then
out.
you swap them.
And it's not the rules allow for that now. If it was old and pre-weird little template, that would maybe be problematic.
They're called
to your
silhouettes, Joe.
Silhouettes. And then you can make that noise he makes in Attack of the Clones before he jumps. He goes, "Wah!"
Yeah. Well, and I was going to ask you this because we haven't seen cards yet, right?
Not that I'm aware of.
For Yoda, no, I don't know. So I'm assuming we're gonna see those if the stream ever starts working again.
One of these days. But maybe they talked about this already. I'm sure it was a question in Twitch chat, and I'm just late to the party, as always. But I'll feign. This is real ignorance, but this is also for the benefit of viewers and listeners. Did they say that he is exclusively Clone Wars?
Oh, I don't think they did, but I would be very surprised if he was a dual faction rebel thing. That
I think the odds of this being a dual faction are very tiny.
Smaller than Yoda, even.
I was gonna say
more like Grogu sized.
I don't know, because I only asked that because the Gimmer stick model has very strong, obviously, Empire Strikes Back vibes to it. Not
I mean, but at the same time, I mean, other than when he's fighting Sidious well, I guess there's also in Kashyyyk there, but basically, except for when he's fighting Sidious and Dooku, we always just see him puttering around with a cane too in the prequels.
Except for the one scene, I think it was Revenge of the Sith. They gave him a little hover chair because
Yeah,
they needed him to be able to walk with Obi-Wan and Mace Windu and have a conversation and be able to keep up with them, because otherwise they would be walking too slow and the scene would look weird. So he has a little hover chair. That's what. Why didn't they give us hover chair Yoda?
I want to know. Well, that's coming later when we get hover carriage Grogu.
I want to know when we're getting smart-ass youngling who thinks he knows all about missing planets and shit.
So what a waste of archive memory. You know what? that kid's not smart. He's just the kid who hasn't been like, the dogma of the Jedi hasn't been hammered into him so much that he's still able to question things. Where Jocasta News like, oh, it's not here, doesn't exist. And that's the end of that story. We're not going to investigate further. We're not going to do any research or question things. That kid, if he hadn't been slaughtered by clone troopers, he would have gone somewhere.
He would have grown up to be Grand Master of the Jedi Order.
Master Skywalker.
Yeah, because when other Jedi would go, well, that's the way it is, he'd go, but is it? And then that would be like, whoa.
Start peeling potatoes.
Has the AMG account said anything more in Twitch chat about?
No.
I just saw it, but then I refreshed and
jeez,
I see
they
nothing.
went away. I think they said soon. Soon.
Whatever. Well, Kravik is streaming his own recap now, so
a recap of the first half of the stream.
Right. So I was gonna say, this is just like from a game perspective. This is totally outside the realm of like, well, technically, Yoda never fought in the Galactic Civil War. Every card game, Yoda's been available.
That is true.
Well, but people tried to make the same argument about Maul also. They tried to say, well, he was never actually part of the Confederacy, so he should not be in the game as a commander for them.
Those were valid points.
I'm not even going to say they're valid points. They weren't.
No, I mean, you're making valid points in that you could argue that, oh no, it's fine for Yoda to be on the Rebels, is what I'm saying. Not that it's dumb for Maul to be on the Separatists.
Okay.
But when I think of him in the card games, it's less of like Yoda fighting alongside troops and more of like he's somehow influencing these abstract things from his hut.
Okay.
Yeah, I'll admit I only played Yoda because it made doing in the CCG to be the master to when I was trying to put my son of Skywalker through the Jedi trials.
I was gonna say you
or Jedi tests they were called in the game.
Deploy Yoda on Hoth and like put him into a Tauntaun saddlebag.
Well, no,
sweet.
Okay. I did actually have Yoda in my Jawa. I had a deck that was all Jawas, Ewoks, and Yoda, and it was only because you could also have there was a device called Luke's backpack.
Yeah,
that you could put on a character, and then you could put into the backpack. It would basically let a Jawa, an Ewok, or Yoda ride that character wearing the backpack as if they were a vehicle.
So this backpack that is Luke-sized goes onto a Jawa, which goes all the way down to the ground.
And then another Jawa climbs in, and then together they form Jawatron. And
when are we going to get this sort of functionality in Legion?
That's what I'm saying.
Well,
when are we getting backpack Luke?
Well, because
the upgrade.
I don't know. When are we getting a stream that works?
That's asking a lot.
Good question.
It's only 2021. It's not like anybody doing live streaming has had an entire year where the entire world is forced to become proficient at live streaming things. If that were the case, it'd be harder to excuse. But as it is, they're probably new to this.
I sort of wish we knew ahead of time what their stream layout was going to be like, so I could have just put one of us in the... Oh, is it coming back?
It's coming back.
We're back to WandaVision.
Please stand by. More like at Mike Mass Games or...
or something. Who knows?
Ass Games, Atomic Ass. To be fair, everything that have come from them into my brain since they took over Star Wars games has been quite promising to me. Except their online
and
presence.
I think we're back. So
You are.
exciting times.
Hey.
Show with all of the drama, all of the anticipation. Here we are doing it live. So we just wrapped up the Lat LE right when we were rudely interrupted by the whole system. Just
I was half expecting them to go, and that's time.
We'll talk to you next time, folks.
We're back now, so hopefully our connection.
AMG, Gary. AMG.
He jinxed it.
I will say this for the old FFG studio. They didn't have as many problems as this.
Oh.
They had problems. Oh, okay.
So let's talk a little bit about the Kashyyyk way. Take us through it.
Okay, I think it's trying to catch up. It's skipping.
Stream buffering.
And it froze again.
It's frozen.
No, this happened with FFG too. Remember during the Gen Con Online when they ended up releasing their whole panel as just a video because they couldn't get the streaming to work?
Yeah, facetious.
Somebody somewhere said Keyforge too many times and it crashed.
Oh, you're right.
That's right. That was every time they tried to do that Keyforge shit.
I'm gonna put in Twitch chat. Stop saying Keyforge.
Our stream isn't having any problems.
Oh no.
We're not doing anything more complex than them.
We're using that good Midwest fiber.
Oh yeah, it grows better.
That's right.
The Red River Valley of North Dakota is where you grow the best internet fibers.
There's more than corn in Indiana. Fiber optics.
So now I've got like this most recent video thing. Does that mean like the stream is like just totally like did they end it? Yeah, because it does.
The stream is over. Yeah. Well, it's ended. It's not running, but I'm sure they'll be back for another 5 seconds, and then.
You need to just be on my show as guests. Apparently, the bandwidth is better in England, in Nottingham. Okay. So, all right. So we talked a little bit about Yoda. I was gonna say I want to snip his foot off that rock and give him a flying base.
I mean, I'm guessing you probably will be able to. I wouldn't be. I'd be really surprised. I'm guessing the rock and his body are going to be two separate pieces, but
hope so.
So.
And even if not, like it's so easy to just snip that off, give a little shine, little scrub, little file. You're not even going to see the bottom of the foot anyways.
Well, you can, since you got that window up there, you can just go over to their Twitter and we can look through the pictures they've tweeted recently.
So aside from Commander Yoda, they also showed new Wookiee warriors. Now, I saw them painting this, but I missed any conversation on it. Catch me up.
There we
go, Wookiee warriors. right there.
Well, there you go.
So I don't think they've said, but I assume they're gonna be, you know, not dual faction again, just
Yeah, I
Republic
haven't seen-
only.
Mm. I mean, that's fine. Everyone's just gonna swap back and forth. They're gonna use the cool new models as proxies of
Yeah.
the older models.
That guy,
Fine.
that guy's big boy.
Yeah.
I'd be curious if they are dual faction because I don't know why they wouldn't be. Did the Wookiees recently get some kind of update in the rules book?
They got, well, it was their unit type changed from just trooper to Wookiee trooper, if I remember right.
Okay, so that's obviously related to new rules that'll come with these guys.
With the Wookiees, yeah. So yeah, see like this Yoda looks too kind of angry, I think, to be like Empire Strikes
Empire
Back.
Yoda.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's fair.
Empire Yoda just looks exhausted.
Yeah, and his clothes are still nice. They're not ratty.
Oh, with that leaping Yoda, you could take him off the base and then put something in the palm of his hand that's holding him up, like a droid, like he's grabbing a droid's head.
Oh dang!
Here's some art from the Flitter Gibber.
Was it the bomb basket?
Yeah, or whatever. Yeah, so
We were talking about that in the. You didn't click on it, or we didn't see it. Oh wait, never mind. I'm watching our stream, which is way better.
That's what I'm doing too. I'm like, wait a minute, I'm behind. What's happening?
Yeah, they were talking about that on the art stream. I think their art team made up that bomb basket because they're like, how do Wookiees like? Do they just have them in their lap? It's like, oh, I bet they have a fun little basket full of bombs that they drop the grenades out of.
Looks an awful lot like Goggles Chewie.
It's got the same Y-shaped bandolier that he had in Solo.
And
Be cool if they made Chewbacca dual faction.
Here's the weird Yoda touching art.
Yeah.
I'm not sure what's supposed to be going on.
So many likes on Twitter.
In this
in the Clone Wars, he's hearing Qui-Gon's voice and he's trying to figure out if he's going crazy or not. And so they're helping him like super meditate, and that's what that's from.
Oh, this is some Clone Wars shit. We're out of here.
Like a bunch of dudes touching me.
Shakti's there too.
Like, I feel everything then.
He looks like he's digging it, Yoda.
Yeah, so that
the
looks
other
like
they don't look too into it, but Yoda looks into it.
That looks like that's all the Legion stuff they've tweeted out so far.
Well, while we're waiting, was there anything new or spectacular in the X-Wing Armada stream?
I mean, X-Wing, they showed the artwork for the Razor Crest. And,
and there was the
squiddy.
The squid ship, yeah.
The squid ship was the thing that I took away from that.
It's very cool.
This stream has a bad motivator. Let's see.
The squid ship is very cool. I don't know if I'd want it. I do like that they said it comes with multiple scenarios, and one of them is a cooperative thing, which they said they kind of branched off of that. They had this X-Wing solo play alpha earlier this year, and so they used that to help kind of figure out how to make this X-Wing co-op mode, which is cool. So hopefully they do more co-op scenarios beyond this, epic ship expansion, because I don't think I'll buy it, even though it does look very cool. And it's dual faction too. You can play it for your scum ships, like pirates are controlling it, or separatists. Yep. And they said Rift Tamsin will be a crew card for it.
I remember them saying that. Yep. To which I responded with Sharkman in Legion when.
We need to do that whole arc of the Clone Wars, but in Legion. But there's got to make a whole new game because it's underwater, so you have
Well, I
to have
think
like
I mean, we kind of didn't we kind of talk about that, like on those what we did those episodes where we talked about like different droids or clone troopers, and like we talked about the Aqua troopers, and we were like, yeah, I don't know if we're ever gonna see these guys or not, but
yeah.
But nothing's stopping us from getting Commander Lichar.
oh god, yeah.
Or King Lichar. I don't remember. He's in the Star Wars comics, like Luke and Leia, and then they meet him, and he's like on life support in a hospital or something.
Oh, he get wrecked? He got wrecked, didn't he?
So
I don't remember what happened to him. He was
so
old.
so how much longer do we want to let this run here before
my
we call
God.
it, do you think?
Well, it's gonna suck because we go, okay, we're done. I gotta go have dinner, and then they're gonna come back and like show off all the like the model for the ornithopter and all the Wookiees. And...
Guy, okay, if we do call it and they start it back up, just make sure to say Keyforge a whole bunch to crash the stream.
You gotta say it 3 times looking into your monitor.
We could stop, and then one of us stands vigilant and texts the other two if it comes back, so we can hurry back.
Yeah, I'll be here.
Uh,
I'll be rewatching videos of all the vampires that were revealed at this morning's Warhammer stream.
I want Legion stuff.
Me too. Let's see if they've posted anything on FFG. Nope.
Oh, poor baby.
Have they posted anything on AMG?
I can put myself over here, so now I look like I'm an official part of their stream. Yeah, I wish somebody would answer like in the chat, you know, and say, "Hey,
we just need to... Yeah.
I mean, I'm sure they're doing everything they can to get back up and running, but at some point,
They're gonna have to call it.
yeah, time of death. Well, is there
6:07 AMG time.
Is there anything else that has been of particular note?
uh,
I feel like that's kind of it for now, aside from like some of the things that they showed off that we saw on the last stream that weren't new announcements. They were just like, hey, these are coming right out.
Yeah, I mean, they revealed a few new cards for Legion products that we know are coming, but they didn't. They showed some new cards for the X-Wing stuff that's coming out soon. The only new X-Wing announcement was that Razor Crest art, which they did say very, very early in production of this product, which I think is something Fantasy Flight probably would have never have done, because this thing's probably not going to hit store shelves for, you know, like a year or more.
Yeah, I guess, but I mean, I think we're surprised. I'm surprised. I would expect both of you to be surprised that anything Mandalorian is. Oh, it's super early. We can't show you too much except this art. It's like, how is it early development at this point?
Maybe they learned their lesson from past releases where they released the ship without much, because Lucasfilm only tells them as much as they want to tell them. So maybe before the show came out, they're like, this is what it looks like, and then they're like, well, we don't know enough about the characters or how the ship acts in the show to design it, so we might need to sit on this. Because like in first edition X-Wing, Poe Dameron was like a lower pilot skill, and then the movie came out, and you're like, oh, he's the best pilot who ever lived. This game piece doesn't fit with that, and then they later changed it. Because what was I think it was on the art stream, they were talking about the Onager Star Destroyer. Simone was saying they pulled it from that Rebel Files book, and because that was the only other place it had appeared, and there was just one like pencil sketch of it in that book, and that was like all they got to work with, and there were other things where Lucasfilm's like, that's what you get, and they're like, can we ask more? They're like, no, that's what you get.
That seems typical, but sad. I mean, obviously counterproductive to, hey, we can sell this.
I guess you don't want. Maybe they just don't care enough to be like, oh yeah, this guy flies this ship like this, and that's. It's a lot of these projects, they want to keep secret, and the more people, we're just gonna give it to these weird board game designers.
Yeah. So, do you want me to leave the stream I think I'm gonna go put my kid to bed. Do you want me to leave the stream running and you guys can just chat, or should we just stop and like, if they start again, I could try and get down here and fire it back up?
Yeah, I think we can stop, and then if it comes back, we'll try and get it back. I'm gonna try and eat something, but if it comes back...
Oh, now they just said we're about 5 minutes out.
Oh, all right.
What do they gotta do? Rerun the cable?
I don't know. Ask Simone.
It's like in Rogue One when Bodhi is like spooling out the cable. They've got a guy out there doing that.
That's right. I mean, hey, that was my job in the Army. I know how that feels. Go run that cable through that potential minefield full of rabid dogs. Great.
What about mines strapped to rabid dogs?
I wouldn't have been surprised. I think that's more of a 40K kind of thing.
Okay, 5 minutes. It is currently 6:11 AMG time. 6:16. They better be up. Oh, he says almost there, working on it.
Go run, get food.
Oh, they've laughed somebody in chat, so they'll check on social media later.
You getting Taco Bell?
I'm gonna get whatever's in the fridge.
Okay. Microwavable.
Taco Bell's not a good choice for me. Last time I had Taco Bell was when they were giving away an Xbox or something.
Taco Bell is what you get at midnight when you've just watched your home team lose.
I think it is the most consistent like laxative, I think.
I don't do Taco Bell or Taco John's anymore.
Not anymore.
I get sick every time I eat them.
It's Toxic Juan's for a reason.
They just don't taste. They seem to like keep tasting less and less good as time goes on. So
it's because you're not 16 anymore.
I mean,
I would say
they do change quality over time too.
Your taste buds change as you age too. Something you thought was gross as a kid, you might actually like now. Apparently, just as you get older, your tongue physically changes.
I'm not sure I could.
The thing is, you should lick as many things as you can now that you're older, and you might
see what's good.
Yeah.
Honestly, I'm not sure I could do, like, if I had friends over, I'm not sure I could do the whole, like, a whole bag of Doritos and a 12-pack of Mountain Dew anymore. That's very much a middle school. That's a night. Doritos, Mountain Dew.
Well, that's why I don't drink Mountain Dew anymore. Because I had like Heisey and some other guys over for my birthday. This was like when I turned like I don't know, like 12 or 13 or something like that, and yeah, I drank. I don't know how much Mountain Dew I did, but I bought one of those cubes. You remember when the pop came in cubes in the 90s?
Absolutely.
And yeah, and like almost nobody else drank any of the Mountain Dew, so I drank the whole like basically the whole damn thing myself, and now I hate Mountain Dew. Ever since then.
I like Mountain Dew, but I don't. I try and drink only things that have no sugar, or if they have alcohol. Water, things with no sugar, or alcohol are the things I drink these days.
Come on, AMG, get this shit going. Our viewer numbers are dropping. We've lost half our viewers already. We've dropped from 6 to 3.
Oh no!
Someone from Finland is here, so
What? Finlandia?
I've painted 54 B1s over this weekend.
I thought he was gonna say.
That's still a lot of B1s for a weekend.
Boy, they've gone from saying up in 5 minutes to they just keep saying soon over and over again.
There's still 1 minute to make that 5-minute mark.
Oh, sorry. Okay, sorry. I'm not giving AMG their due here.
They've got 1 minute to turn this around.
Pizza dude's got 30 seconds.
Wise man say, forgiveness is divine, but never pay full price for late pizza.
Or late streams. I don't know.
Or late streams. That's right. Never pay full price for late streams.
By the way, Evan, getting these old border cards in Time Spiral Remastered is fucking awesome.
You bought physical cards?
Yeah.
Wow, when was the last time you did that?
Shards of Alaria was the last time I ever bought cards.
Wow.
Oh, I think it's coming back. Atomic Mass Games just said,
Proud
here
of
we
you.
go. So we got at least, I'm going to say at least 10 more.
Oh, man. Look at those. Look at those beauties.
Okay, well, it is the 5-minute mark, and they're saying it's coming back, but it's not back yet.
This seems like a good time for us to put up our Be Right Back.
Whoa.
Oh, what?
Something exciting happening at the end, and clearly the most exciting thing that could happen is for everything to just crash and burn around us. But through many sacrifices, mostly of Bobbin,
Go on.
and we're ready to go again. So let's pick up where we left off.
Well, my whiskey is gone, and Joe is hungry. This better be good. My whiskey is gone, Joe is hungry.
Leo, I'm going to give you, like, a small amount of judgment for not having your Twitch in night mode.
I don't have anything in night mode. I hate night mode.
That's you'd hate your eyes. Oh, hey, they are back.
They are back, yes.
Kind of iconic releases in terms of these bigger drops. So
okay, iconic releases.
More thematic releases. Okay, I guess we're seeing it with the.
Come on, before you drop again.
Like I said, we have a Ministravaganza 2 coming through. As long as we can get the internets back long enough to do it again, which will be wonderful. We want to.
He put an S behind the word internet. He's cool.
More kind of tied together releases, not just for the player experience that they bring and for the development benefits that kind of focused development can provide and bring as well, but also looking at the game holistically from an organized play standpoint, from everything that we want to bring in terms of making all of the products and the different releases feel thematically whole, to give that added value that we talked about before, and to make sure that the game continues to prosper and do some really great things. And it allows us some flexibility to do things that I think are going to be very exciting when we get to them in the future as well.
Indeed, yes. And
okay, great.
Yeah,
see,
exactly
Twitch chat wants a Scum Faction too.
With Star Wars Legion.
What is Twitch chat now?
Well, yeah, it's not. I mean,
no, that you're right.
A little bit of on this early on when we hit the Rogue One themed wave. It's a bunch of Rogue One themed stuff together. But
there was a lot of good stuff. But where's the rest of the team?
Piecemeal a little bit, and things were packaged a little more.
Theme stuff.
These are similar units to each other, giving sort of the factions some parity, and that was important initially sort of building up the game to give each faction sort of some equal footing. But as we move into the future,
Yeah, I'm
Mid-band
Star Wars
expansion.
Legend,
You know what?
I'm glad-
Mid-band would be
more
cool.
and more of the Star
I'm
Wars
glad
stuff,
parity is
with
no
the game,
longer
there's these
something they're
specific
trying
battles or
for as
specific
much.
sort of, smaller, forces within these.
You kind of needed that at
we
the
wanna
start of the
explore
game, otherwise it.
and
Oh, yeah.
group together
Absolutely at the start, but now
This is
going
the
forward,
first,
like I
iteration
don't want to
that
see
you're seeing
parity
in
anymore.
The Battle of Kashyyyk, and so we're going to be talking about some both Republic-themed Kashyyyk forces and also sort of the Separatist forces that you saw invading Kashyyyk in Revenge of the Sith.
Lots
So I
of
think
Big
the
Macs,
first one
right?
We have is the Wookiee Warriors, which we have shown off.
Big
before,
Macs?
But there is a whole new
Sponsored
Big
by
Macs.
McDonald's?
troop of
Yeah.
Wookiees coming.
Ba-dum,
Tell
bum,
us a
bum,
little
bum.
bit about the
They
new set of units. It
Lost
is
the
across
legal
the
right to the
cross-platform,
word Big
but
Mac
it
in
does
Europe. I don't know if you knew that.
replace the
Yeah, it's Le
Rebellion
Big
era
Mac.
Rebel
No, there's a older
after,
restaurant that's
stuff
existed before,
for the
older than
Galactic
McDonald's.
Republic as well, correct?
That
Yes, exactly.
Shut up
I
about
think
Big
we have
Macs.
a
I'm trying to
Wookiee
listen.
that we can put up for people to see here, and what's cool is
Ooh,
that
a Wookiee miniature.
People have sort of wondered about this, and I can confirm that this is intended to sort of revitalize the Rebel Wookiees that we had initially released for the game. And so
That's
this
a
expansion is dual
fucking-
faction.
Whoa, it is dual faction.
Unit cards for both
Oh!
and the Rebels.
That's exciting.
That's a fucking awesome
Nice.
paint job. Wow.
I really enjoy painting Wookiees, so I'm happy these guys will be for Rebels.
I enjoy doing the IA ones. I haven't got them yet for Legion.
Reference, last year during that points update, and so that same unit card.
Painting all the
sort of
fur is
reviews
fun.
Like, Duelist is going to be sort of the new Wookiee Warriors unit card for both.
Dry brushing the hell out of anything is fun.
Did he say that it's coming with like a redo of the Wookiee Warriors card for Rebels?
That make the Wookiee Warriors more ranged focused.
Yes?
You can see this miniature here is
Ooh.
one of the Wookiee carbines. So there's going to be
Ooh.
options for all of the Wookiee miniatures that come in the
Ooh.
product to be built with those carbines instead of the Reich blades. And so you can field still a Wookiee Warriors unit that can use all the same heavy weapons as the melee version, but it's more.
Okay, so you can give them the swords or the guns when you glue them up.
Duelists
Yeah,
instead
I
of
like
the
that.
melee
Or
firepower,
magnetize.
and they instead gain a better a range 3 attack that can sort of harass
That's good.
opponents, enemy units at a distance. So this expansion gives you a ton of flexibility. There's a lot of interesting things you can do with it. And something I want to highlight too is because of
I am
all of those
excited.
extra unit cards,
I was like,
you
oh,
can absolutely still use.
Were they
your
terribly
existing,
overpowered in melee?
Wookiee Warrior
No.
miniatures. Those can
No.
be your
I'd like to see
melee
that.
Wookiees.
Like,
Use the new
give 'em
unit card
range,
that's
but
coming
make
in,
'em, like,
this Wookiee
mean as
Warrior
hell in
expansion.
melee.
Build the Wookiees
I
that
mean,
can
they were
use
good
the
melee
carbine
units, but the
carbine
trick is
configuration
always
or the
getting
second
them
melee
into
unit. So
range.
there's still a lot of
Yeah.
value there with your existing
Mess-
Wookiee miniatures. And
With
just
any
combine them
sci-fi
together, get a
war game, that's
even
certainly the
bigger
case.
focus by combining the two sets together.
Nice.
That is very cool.
Moving right along, we have so the Wookiees bring something new. There, of course.
Well, they're arguing about Yoda being
the-
cross-faction in the Twitch chat.
Of course.
The Aether Sprite, the little Fluttercraft, and the art panel for Star Wars.
Let's see it.
So there are some more themed releases that come around them. One of the biggest ones, of course, is probably Grand
Show
Master
it.
Yoda, who is front
Oh, it's gonna
and
be
center
Yoda
in
again?
that Battle of
Yoda
Kashyyyk
cards, Yoda
and
cards.
the invasion time. So, like, obviously very exciting to bring such an iconic character to the forefront to give him leadership.
I'd say Yoda's front and
I
center
know
in
we
that
talked a little
battle.
bit
He's
about
kind
it
of up
a
in
couple
the
of different streams.
treehouse watching
I think
things.
it's probably about
He
time
does
to
look very
really dive
grumpy
in and give
in
the
the-
people
Well,
what they
yeah.
want, which is a better view of the card itself.
Yeah.
I'm very
yes,
curious about that
we
basing.
asked Simone,
Okay,
and
now we get to
Simone
see his
decided
card.
To look down upon the poor, wretched Legion fans and give them what they wanted, give them the Yoda unit card. So we have that to show off here, and some people were making some predictions, and there were some.
Simone
that
has
were,
blessed us.
Pretty close.
Ataru.
As you can see, it's
Okay.
You can do.
Ooh.
Oh, you can do
it's
two
it's
attack
pretty
actions.
awesome.
If you
for the
defend,
points,
gain an
as I
aim.
mentioned
Or defend,
before,
gain a range
and,
challenge for damage.
some crazy abilities, which Schick was
Master
alluding
Force
to while he was
2.
painting it. Tower Mastery there is
Force waves.
Wow.
Speed 1 as expected.
I can just read it
Yeah.
out. You
Does
can
he-
perform 2 attack actions.
How does he
Wait,
get around?
Does he not have
After you
the
perform an
the
attack,
jump thing?
you gain a dodge
He does
token.
not have jump.
After you defend, you gain an aim token. So it's sort of like a, when he's
Impact 2.
attacking, he can get better at defending. When he's defending, he can get better at attacking. And we're all
Four,
the range
four
attack,
courage.
spend a dodge
Jesus.
token, the attacker suffers a wound for each surge roll. So that's the same sort of secondary effect of the deflectability. So he sort of has that rolled into a total mastery. But if you notice, he doesn't need to convert. You know, the spending the dodge token doesn't need to give him the convert surges to blocks like deflect normally does, because he already has that on his unit card. He's already that good. And he comes with a lot of other awesome stuff too. He's got Master of the Force 2. He's got Guidance, which is sort of a mirrored effect, if you
200
will,
points.
of an ability that Emperor Palpatine has, but with Yoda, instead of allowing a unit to attack, it allows a unit to do any action that's not an
I worry about him being only speed 1 though, because that really hurt Vader. The original Vader only being speed 1.
Maybe there'll be a new Force upgrade card that lets you scooch.
Well,
Or, you know, you got the close transport too.
Yeah,
Pull him around.
I would have.
distances, you know, hit
Well,
people
I
with
don't know. Maybe he comes with a force power that lets him use the force to propel him.
other abilities too that he's going to get
Or just give him Force pull so you can pull everyone to you. He doesn't have to go anywhere.
Future reveals.
Force push.
We spoiled some
Or
art
like
for them, and they're
maybe
pretty sweet,
bounce
so look forward
to
that.
the nearest guy within range
I really love what
3.
you did with the command cards in terms of how they function and kind of the versatility they add to.
I mean, he's a leapy
Grandmaster
boy.
Yoda. I'm
He
excited
should
to
have
get
some
this,
leaping.
on the table, and
Maybe his command cards
to all
give him
three
some more
victories
mobility
over
too.
these silly droids.
Okay.
And specifically over this next droid. Who
I mean,
will
looking
be
at-
leading the futile efforts to invade
Well,
Sheev,
never mind.
which is,
You guys
one
know
that we
how
got
he
to
fights.
preview
I don't need to
on
tell you.
Before Ministravaganza in our build-up, the super tactical droid.
There he is.
Yes. So that super tactical droid is, it's kind of a mean dude. We'll hint at some of his abilities. We'll have cards for.
I think I'd definitely
future
paint mine like
rolls.
Kalani
But
because
something
he's
that
my
is cool
favorite
is,
super
you're
tactical
gonna
droid.
get
Not that I
multiple
have any
options
other
for,
like second place super tactical droids, but
Is he the one that they find in Rebels?
he is, and he's also in Clone Wars, and he
We're gonna have
on Onderon,
cards that sort
when
of
he
represent
realizes they've
different
lost, he
roles,
just straight up point blanks the wannabe
commanders.
king guy in his
Ones that
chair
might be
and walks
Bad
away.
guy.
Great.
Damn.
Other ones are going to be a little more focused on
Kalani
supporting,
confirmed.
army around them, but all of them do interesting things that sort of
Colonoscopy.
play with the AI system a little bit. So you know, for anyone who's familiar with playing Separatists, most of the droid units have the AI keyword, which is when they're not given an order, they have to just do some basic action. They don't have full control over what they do during their turn because they're just defaulting to their programming. So these commanders, the super tactical droid commanders, are through their command cards and also through their abilities going to play more with that ability. And some of them are going to actually encourage you to just go ahead and use those AI actions, to not necessarily give your units orders. So rather than rely on that programming. And other ones are going to help you sort of.
So he might have cards or abilities that just say,
AI programming, let you
if
go
you're not
ahead and
issued an
have
order,
full
do
free
this?
range of actions on the turn of those units. when they wouldn't
Interesting.
Otherwise, so it's a lot of cool.
Kind of taking the whole
separatist
separatist thing and flipping it over.
Units can use. So we got exciting things for the future to talk about with this new commander unit as well.
And of course, it's pretty important to protect your commanders. I've seen super tactical droids.
Do the clones get a?
They're scary when they talk, but I don't know if they're that scary when you get super close to them. However, we're adding a new unit that can kind of help with that, right? And one of the most iconic, I think, separatist units in my mind, which of course is these sweet IG Magna Guards.
Oh, Magna Guards. I love this. What's with the gun though?
Yeah, go ahead.
Oh, that's a goofy looking.
That's like a Doctor Who gun.
It's like a steampunk musket.
Unfortunately, no. Because I don't know what it is. I just love this miniature so much.
I mean, okay, but if it's gonna be like the Separatist version of the Royal Guard, like, why this gun?
It's true.
Fair enough.
I don't know.
They-
The
I mean,
Royal
everybody can
the Royal
operate.
Guards had
That's
guns.
one of the rules on
Yeah, they have a
In the
gun.
models though?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
The unit leader has a gun. Yeah.
Oh, okay. Well, I never bought those either.
Man, that mini looks so. Those guys are cool because they're like, I'm a droid, but I'm gonna wear a cape anyways.
Yeah. Droids with capes are sweet.
Why not?
they get chilly. They don't have any meat on their bones.
See, they know what they're talking about.
I love the way they actually sculpted the lightning on the staff and stuff.
Yeah.
That's in their
It looks really good.
They're really concerned about
I'm excited for those guys. I have to buy 2. Running with Grievous.
Like I said on our
sort of to like
recent podcast
alongside your
episode,
commander,
these
and
guys make me want to like get a Grievous on eBay, get these guys, and start a separatist, because these are just rad.
So I think
They're
it
so
works.
cool.
It's a bonus to their intimidation roll for sure.
I just about picked up another
I mean, I will say,
clone starter, Clone Wars starter
Corey did an
today,
amazing job on the
because the
miniatures,
separatists are
because
getting such
all
cool
joking
stuff.
aside, like the sort of the dynamic posing that a lot of them have with that cape sort of flowing behind them,
Yeah, I want to see these guys be very posable. Like, no mono pose. Let me pose them how I want.
In this Kashyyyk wave, these are definitely my favorite miniatures. So I'm excited about that. I can give you a little hint as to their mechanics. I've touched on the fact that all the droid units have some sort of AI programming. These guys are no exception, so they have that built in as a little bit of a liability. But they hit pretty hard. They're a dedicated melee unit for a faction that they have. The BX commando droids have that melee option with them, but these guys are really a dedicated melee unit. So that's pretty cool to see.
I think it would be kind of fun to have
They have the immune melee pierce.
a match
like
of
the
only
Empire
melee
to
units on
the
both
Empire
teams.
when you equip them with electro staff, so they can stand up perhaps to a Jedi.
That would be
and
very
sort of
cool.
tar pit
I don't
that
think there's
Jedi.
any. I don't think you could do that for the Republic.
Did you hear that? They're immune to melee pierce, so they'll be good to throw at lightsaber wielders.
Oh yeah.
That's exciting.
That sort of
Which
makes
is most of
as
the.
I alluded to,
I mean,
sort of
if you're,
foil
yeah,
to
that.
the Imperial, world.
Especially if you're
They
playing
also
against Republic.
have Guardian,
Yeah.
which you'd expect
Are there
to
any
fit alongside
commanders
a
that are
commander
not Jedi?
but
Padme
since they're droids
and
they
Padme's
have
an
some
operative.
programming, something
Rex.
new that we've done is
Rex.
introduce
Oh, okay. Yep,
a
you're right.
limitation to that Guardian keyword, so it's Guardian.
But I don't
two,
know what his place in the meta
commander.
is, but
So
I
they can
doubt
only use the Guardian
he's
keyword
a solo
on
commander.
So they're not going to block shots for B1 battle droids.
Interesting.
That'd be ridiculous.
They can only use their commander or their guardian keyword to guardian for commanders.
Right, or the super tactical.
That's kind of neat.
Okay.
Sorry,
Like we don't. We'll protect Grievous. We're not going to protect.
Nobody loves
This
nobody loves the
other
B1.
guy.
Of course, talking about some
Seems
of the
fine.
other units which we don't have time to talk about, but
Yeah.
we'll be talking about in the future that
You-
were spoiled over.
You
the
would not
Ministravaganza.
use these guys with Maul from a
The
thematic
Persuader
perspective.
tank, which of course is pretty iconic from that Battle of Kashyyyk scene, as they're like rolling through the beaches and stuff with their little snail eyeballs.
Show it to
that
me.
was,
Oh, let's see
previewed
it.
in the Legion artwork that was shown on the Star Wars panel. We're gonna be talking a lot more about that, showing off some really cool stuff. as
Yeah,
we
the
get
art was
closer
cool.
to
It had
those
some
things.
wikis swinging on
There's a
vines.
couple more
Nice.
surprises as well in store that we'll be revealing as we get closer to their release later.
Do you have a
this year.
picture of the mini for us?
And I believe we also
They
will
just
see
said that
the
they're not going to be
advanced
talking
program
about them.
for the Wookiees as
Oh.
well. It's going to be a new vehicle.
They said they're not going to have time to
I
get
guess
into
if there's a
those.
runner-up to coolest miniature in this wave, that would be the one for me. That one's pretty wild. Again, Bexley did an amazing job with that, and we have some amazing Wookiee pilots and crew in there that I'm excited for to see as well in the near future.
And a basket.
I wonder if
full of
that thing
thermal
will be
detonations,
dual faction.
because
Probably
that
not.
Sounds like safety.
I mean, it's Wookiees, do you really expect anything else?
No, we don't.
Given how long they live, yeah, I kind of do. I feel like maybe there are long-term consequences for Wookiees when you live, to be quite old, hundreds of years old. Losing a finger will matter a lot more. That's just my.
I don't know. They just want to party.
They just want to party with thermal detonators. And I believe we've reached the point, which this is my favorite bullet point on your outline that you provided for us, Mr. Luke Eddy, which is that's it, go home.
Okay, well, there you go,
That's
Joe.
it.
Go eat.
Okay.
In terms of this panel. So thank you very much, gentlemen, for joining us. Thank you, Twitch audience, for sticking through our inevitable.
Well,
and
I'm
unfortunate
kind of
start.
disappointed we didn't get to
Technical
see the
difficulties in this
rest
final
of the
preview,
Kashyyyk
final
wave.
panel of Ministravaganza. We do have one more
Yeah.
segment, which is closing ceremonies. So be sure to join us for that. Simone Elliott and potentially myself, depending on how our technological
so
go. We'll be back to kind of close out this amazing 3 days
Okay.
that we've gotten to spend with all of y'all.
Yeah.
Of course, continue to watch all of the social media for more
I guess-
latest and greatest information. And
That kind of sucks that almost everything in this panel had already been spoiled ahead of time.
We got the Magna Guard
Yeah,
picture. That was nice.
and a little bit of information.
Mhm.
I think the biggest reveal in this whole thing was the fact that the Wookiees is going to be a dual faction.
That's great.
I mean,
like that.
I mean, seeing the unit cards for some of these units was nice, but yeah, I guess like I said, I'm real disappointed we did not see the rest of this Kashyyyk wave, because we know they're out there, and I mean, and they mentioned a couple of them there. They're like, yeah, they're coming. We're just not gonna talk about them, which is pretty lame. Well, whatever.
Yeah, I mean, if we do the rundown of everything we got, we did kind of already do that during the
Our predictions
Right.
episode.
yes, that too, and I guess like Leo said, aside from seeing the cards, not any real big surprises, no huge reveals, just stuff we knew, stuff that is cool to see, but
Yeah, I think out of this whole weekend, I think the Razor Crest, or like that image of the Razor Crest, is about the only thing that they like, the only like actual like really like new unit they showed in any shape or form, right? Because
Well,
all the
on
Armada
what you
stuff they
said,
showed, we already knew. It's just they were just showing off cards and things like that for units that we already knew were coming. All the X-Wing stuff was also just cards for stuff that was already coming up until they showed the Razor Crest art.
yeah.
And then
And-
yeah. So
It's certainly it is no fault of theirs that stuff got spoiled ahead of time, except that clearly their security is too lax. But
well, I don't think it's their security. I mean, because it's a distributor who's leaking
sure,
it.
I'm
So it's, I mean,
that was facetious. I should have clarified that up front. I'll put JK. The security sucks.
well, and that note, I think that's about that. Like I said, I don't think I guess we just wait for Ministravaganza 2 whenever that happens.
I mean, we can certainly guess if it's gonna be around the time of when we would have seen a convention. I don't know of any other like miniature conventions coming up that they would have done this stuff at. They got Origins in June, Gen Con's in September, so what is in flight gonna be, if anything? Ooh.
They're gonna have
Yeah,
they're gonna have
the
they're gonna have like
Arkham-
five they're gonna have an Arkham card game expansion and an Arkham board game expansion and
Yeah.
an expansion for that other Arkham board game and an expansion for that other Arkham board game.
Yeah, sounds
And-
about right.
We're gonna announce a huge expansion for Outer Rim, and they're gonna say, "You're welcome, Joe."
Joe, it's gonna say on the box.
Maybe,
Oh,
and you know what? They are going to. Georgia R.R. Martin is going to come out on the stage, and he's going to say, "You know what? Dance with Dragons, or I mean, not Dance with Dragons. Winds of Winter is finished. I've done it." And Fantasy Flight's going to be making the Winds of Winter expansions for the LCG.
Yep. No, Winds of Winter is going to be released
And-
only as LCD expansion. That's where it's going to happen. You heard it.
You have to read the entire novel in the flavor text on the cards.
A lot of cards.
No, actually, George R. R. Martin will come out on the stage and tell everyone about his new books he's writing or whatever.
Well, I finished 3 books that take place before.
Well, he's already said that he's thinking about whenever he does finally finish Winds of Winter, he's thinking about making another Dunk and Egg book before doing Super Springtime or whatever the book's called. I don't even remember anymore.
Oh my gosh, his agent must hate their life.
Well.
Yep.
Any closing thought? Anything else, or I'm hitting the end stream button?
I got nothing.
Thanks for joining us. Anyone that's probably going to be watching this later on demand, because
well, yeah, except for the 3 to 7 people who did actually tune in.
Yeah, so that's rad.
So, good job, guys.
Hooray! We'll catch everybody back in the Discord where we live every other day. So,
bye.
Bye-bye.